Welcome back to Are You High Right Now? TJ, are you high right now?
I am.
What did you smoke today?
I smoked. What did I smoke?
Sorry, I gotta adjust
It
my
was
mic.
Pink Runts out of my new little PAX device. This thing's pretty fucking cool. It's a vaporizer, so it doesn't combust the flower or material, so it doesn't burn anything. So it prevents like the carcinogens, all the bad shit you don't want to inhale. It just heats up to the correct temperature that actually decarbs the THC, not decarbs, but activates, I should say. Comes out in a very smooth, light vapor and tastes amazing. Has great effects, and I think this is now my main way to consume.
Your favorite thing?
Yeah.
And you were saying that you can do weed and you can do, what were you saying? You can do like multiple things with that?
You can do concentrates with it as well. So right now I've got flour in it, Pink Runts flour, and then you also can exchange the bottom out just like a little chamber, and it can hold concentrate like live rosin or diamonds or whatever you're into.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Talk about our weeks real quick.
sure.
What do you have to say about it?
It was long. It was stressful.
It's another long one.
Yeah, it really was. I think Josh was sick last
Oh yeah,
week.
didn't you say that a lot of people were sick
Yeah,
at
it
work?
was-
A lot of people were gone.
It's going around. The crud's going around. Definitely hit our facility pretty hard. I know that we've got a few people out with kids that are sick. I mean, I was out for 2 days the week before. Josh was out 2 days the week after. I mean, our employees have just been kind of dropping in and out randomly just because they're just, I feel like we weren't super good about keeping people away. And it was causing us to basically just pass this cold back and
It's so
forth.
hard though because I mean, don't we kind of know now from a lot of sicknesses that you can be contagious without showing any symptoms? But yeah, I feel like, yeah, you don't want to be at work when you really like don't feel well and you can't do well at work when you're coughing or whatever. But honestly, it is impossible not to spread illnesses. Like you can wash your hands and you can do everything to try and prevent it, but you're going to spread. You can't just, there's no way around it, I don't think.
So yeah, that's why it sucks, and it sucks when we have some people out. But if you're sick, you're staying home until you feel better.
Huh.
That's our new rule now.
See, that's interesting to me because by then you're probably no longer contagious. The last couple days that you're like not feeling great.
I'd say the days that leading up to not feeling great are the worst contaminant periods.
Yeah, but then to
Contamination
say like
periods.
you can't come back until you feel 100%.
I mean, how do you know when you're not contagious anymore?
Well, you don't, but you also can't like not go to work 2 out of every 4 weeks. DJ's a teensy bit hungover today, aren't ya?
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the mood. He's not in the mood for me to critique him.
No, I'm not.
Anyways, I don't think we have much to talk about with our weeks just because we see each other every single day, obviously. So anything we have to talk about, we talk about to each
Well,
other.
I
I can
mean-
never think of anything like substantial that happens.
And I like to shut it. I don't know. I don't necessarily like to bring work home.
Let's get into it now.
Okay.
So last episode we talked about what this episode was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of on the train of like things we should know but don't, or kind of, I guess, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Like basic things that you should know in your 30s or almost 30 that we wanted to see if we knew them. So kind of exposing how dumb we are for some things. So we got some good little questions, and then I kind of have some little stories from Reddit of things that people learned embarrassingly late in life. So I thought that would be kind of fun to go over. So tell me your experience like with school.
I mean, I didn't like school. I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like most of the people I went to school with.
Oh, really? Ouch.
So, I mean, it's just my honest opinion. It wasn't none of it interested me. It wasn't that I didn't understand it. It's not that I couldn't do it. None of it interested me, minus a few classes here and there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I needed a different way to learn. And at that time, there wasn't really
Yeah.
like alternative methods of learning unless you went to the bad kid school.
Yeah. Which I kind of think is still how it is in a lot of ways. Like there's like one basic traditional way of learning, right? Here, anyways.
I mean, I would say that they've come a long ways with like creating the Rapid City Academy.
Yeah,
Before,
but like in the traditional like school, they don't really like start out with what are you interested in, or do they do that now?
No, I don't know. I guess I have no idea. I really
They
don't.
might actually have different pathways now.
They really,
I kind
they
of
really
feel
should.
like Sophie was saying they have something that's different than when we went to school. So maybe it's gotten better.
Because it definitely stops a lot of people from developing. I mean, it's hard to put somebody in a situation. It's hard to work a job that you hate every single day over and over and over again. So it's like, why would you put a child who can absorb like a sponge right now, put him in a classroom that he doesn't want to be in, or he doesn't like it? This is not where I want to learn.
Yeah.
But if you threw him in like a shop and gave him a welder or a hammer, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. Maybe when you're getting like through high school, but there's also like you have to learn the basics.
Oh yeah, like basically like math and reading, of course. Yeah.
I don't think
I'm talking more out of like probably past 5th grade. Like get your basics done, and then once you get into like middle school, you should start figuring out your.
But do you think you have the basics that you need by middle school? I don't think grammar wise. I don't think so.
Probably not grammar wise, but that develops.
Yeah,
And there's people right now that are 40 years old that can't talk.
That's fair. I just showed you a message that I got from a senior about senior pictures, and I'm not gonna obviously expose anybody. That is how most seniors reach out to me, so this is should not be directed towards one person. But the grammar was terrible to where I was feeling like, how on earth is this person graduating high school? That's sad to me, honestly, that I feel like, oh, if you show up and you get these grades or whatever, you graduate and you're put into the real world. And I'm thinking, if I was
like if you're even like applying for a job,
yes,
and that's the email
if I
that
was
you
gonna
sent,
hire somebody and I saw the spelling errors, the grammatical errors, all of that, I would be like, to me it looked like 5th grade level. It scared me for the next generation. I was gonna say for school, I liked school because I think it was catered towards people like me, where I was good at studying. And so in high school and in middle school and everything, I did well. I got good grades, but I always tried to like follow my brother's lead. He's an engineer, he's super smart. I always felt like, oh, I have to compete with him. So I like took his classes, and I struggled. I always did my homework. I was good at studying and stuff, but I still struggled with some of the harder classes. And then getting into college, when I kind of figured out what I was interested in, I was more interested in it, but I feel like this is not the best way of learning, but I was very good at cramming for tests and doing really well on the test, and then letting all that information leave my brain.
That's not learning.
It's not learning, but I feel like that's kind of what school in a way teaches you, how to kind of cheat the system. And I don't mean to brag in any way, because I don't think this is like a great way of learning, but I got to the point where it was like a competition for myself of, could I be the first one to finish a test and get the best grade? And I did that most of college.
What in the fuck?
But that doesn't mean that I retained that information.
No, you probably retained a quarter of that information.
Yeah, and so that is why up. It is. And so I look at my like level of like intelligence, and I actually have a hard time with it, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm smart. I feel like I was good at regurgitating the information that was put in front of me. I knew exactly what I needed to know to ace a test. Mm-hmm. I did the exact same thing. I had a finance job where I had to take all the finance tests, and I passed them all in the first try. Ask me a finance question now, couldn't tell you. It's gone. It's gone. It left my brain.
Yeah, but that's different though. So if you're taking tests for a job and you're going to be doing that every single day,
right.
Obviously you would retain
obviously
that.
I knew it while I was doing it. Now I'm 2 years out from that job. I don't remember it as well.
Let's be honest though, like when you're studying for a test and whatnot, how many of us out there have actually retained the knowledge that we're studying for?
That's fair. But then like I look at my brother who, did I ever tell the physics story on here? I don't remember if I did.
Physics story.
That because I would take all the classes that he took, he was so good at retaining all this information. So like AP Chem, AP Calc, everything. I would learn something that day and I would have like a hard time understanding it. And I would go home and he would help me with it and he would know everything. Like he would remember how to do all of it. And he's 2 years ahead of me. And maybe he was still taking somewhat classes like that, but like I didn't know and I had just learned it that day and he would remember detailed stuff. And I took a physics class, that I didn't need to take. Physics wasn't required in high school, right? You could take a different science class.
You could take, you could.
Yeah.
There was options.
So I took physics because my brother did really well in that class and he loved that teacher and that teacher loved him. And when I was in that class, it was her last year. She was retiring that year. So we also had like a student teacher, Sexy Smith, if you guys remember him.
Who? Sexy Smith?
We called him Sexy Smith. He was a student teacher and he is a teacher now and he's great. But
I'm sure he was.
The main teacher, I remember we had this homework assignment and I'm at home, I'm trying to do it and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I get to this problem where I'm like, I have zero idea. So I asked my brother for help and instead of him like kind of walking me through it and teaching it to me, he's like, let me just figure it out. So I go do something else. He sits down with my homework notebook and writes out the whole problem and figures it out for me. And I'm like, okay, great. So we go to school the next day and the teacher who loved him, at this point, she's realizing I am not my brother. She does not love me like she loved Nick. And she's like, did anybody get, problem 7 or whatever?
And of course
I look down at my homework. I'm like, well, look at that. I got number 7. So I raised my hand and she's like, oh, okay. Do you want to come up to the board and like put your work up here? Thankfully, my brother had all the work. I'm like, easy. I go up there. I just copy everything he wrote down and we get done. And she's like, yeah, that's right. Did your brother help you? And I was like, a little. She said, yeah, well, we haven't learned that yet. And I'm like,
shit.
He did help me. He did in fact help me. Anyways, so when I graduated high school, I started to realize I'm not my brother. I don't want to be an engineer. That's not how my brain works. I like the business side of things and I like creative stuff. Although, to be honest, now that my job is more creative, it took me a little bit to train my brain how to let myself be creative instead of needing those cut and dry answers of like, oh, you cram your brain and you put it out for a test. So yeah, anyways, that's all I was going to say. It's interesting because although I do think there's very important things you need to learn in school, like grammar, I feel like is huge. Knowing how to read well, huge. Basic math skills, you have to know that stuff and you should know it your whole life. But yeah, there's obviously ways that would be better for people to learn that would make them more interested and help them actually find what they like and what they're good at, as opposed to just, put everybody in the classroom and make them do the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, it could be, yeah.
And as someone who, like, I was the teacher's pet, straight A's, everything, and to now be in a job where, like, that is not at all how my days are. And it's not that I regret how I did stuff, but I don't feel like that helped me in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we asked our listeners, what are some things that we should know? So kind of like, are you smarter than a fifth grader questions, ones that are basic things that we should know. And I'm going to be honest, some of these, you guys are brutal because we're going to look dumb as hell because some of these I do not know. So I have a few that are listener write-ins. I don't know the answer to them. And then I looked up a couple extras that I saw the answer. Like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? I looked them up and I want you to answer them. And I think you'll be able to. Okay, so the first one, what is the purpose of a semicolon?
Oh, I'm no cool. I failed. My senior year, I had to take all 4 Englishes.
Wow, that's...
All three. Because I had sophomore English, junior English, and then I had to do the creative writing and myth and symbol.
I don't know if I've ever actually used a semicolon the right way. I would say I use it if I'm going to... I don't even know how to word it. I feel like I could use it correctly, but I don't know how to explain how I would use it. Possibly to, like, list something.
So, give me an example. Miss, I know how to use it properly, but I can't explain it.
I know, but I'm trying to think of an actual sentence. Okay, whatever. Should we look it up quick? Should we look it up?
I know. I want to hear what you.
No, I don't have a.
So do you not
give
know
me a
then?
sentence.
Do you not know?
Fine, I will say I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know the technical purpose of a semicolon.
I'm actually surprised you don't.
You have no idea.
No, I have no fucking clue. I'm terrible with.
Okay, it says you should use a semicolon only where you could also use a period, but want to demonstrate a relationship between two sentences.
Yeah, so you were wrong.
Okay. To mark the most important breaks in the sentence, such semicolons are effectively being used to mark places where the reader can pause to catch his breath. I did not. Should we look at an example? I ordered a cheeseburger for lunch. Life's too short for counting calories. So
The semicolon was
is after lunch.
Mm.
Okay. Well, now I know. Oh, I was wrong. You know what?
That's still surprising. Though.
You want me to tell you how stupid I am? I mixed up a colon and a semicolon. I was thinking it was the dot, not the dot, comma.
Oh, I knew it was the dot comma. What's the
So-
dot? What's the dot?
See, for me, I was thinking of like listing something.
What's the definition of the dot? Or what the fuck is the dot?
The
What's
dot
it
dot is a
called?
colon,
That's a
not a
colon?
semicolon.
So I knew that for some reason. I knew the semicolon was
What?
the comma and the period.
Of a colon.
This is-
Oscopy.
Is that the most common search?
Oh, okay. So I was right. A colon is used to give emphasis, present dialogue, introduce lists or text,
Okay.
and clarify composition.
Okay.
So I was somewhat right, but I did forget okay, if you're listening, I want you guys to be very real with me. If you know these like the back of your hand, fantastic. But I want you to truly ask yourself, do you know these questions?
Yeah, we're being real here.
We're being
Let's-
real.
Let's be real.
Okay, so this one, I'm like, who the heck did this? Why are there ripples on the hills in Missoula, Montana?
What?
Yeah,
Why is there ripples?
is that common knowledge? I want to ask whoever
Ripples-
put that question.
Ripples on the hill. That is very vague. What the fuck
Well,
do you
I'm
mean by ripples on
guessing
the hill?
they're saying, yeah, right, on the hills. But so different layers of, that's what I was
Like
thinking.
different layers of snow?
Rock or, no, I was thinking like the actual map. I don't freaking know. I've never even been to Missoula.
And I'm just trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about. I'm going to need to...
Well, I'm going to tell whoever wrote this that is not common knowledge, especially if you don't live in the area.
What if I've never been there?
That's exactly what I said. I've never been there.
I've definitely been there, and I've seen the mountains.
Should we look it up?
Now they said the layers or waves?
Ripples.
Ripples. A ripple's like...
Why are there ripples on the hills?
A ripple's like from like a wave. Like it's an effect from something hitting it.
Okay, you guys, no one would freaking know this. I don't even know how to pronounce this.
See?
The Camas Prairie ripples were formed by the mighty currents associated with the colossal emptying of Glacial Lake Missoula. Glacial Lake Missoula filled and emptied about 40 times during a 2,000-year period. You guys, that is not common knowledge. Get out of here with that question. Trying to make us look stupid. Okay. How does carbon dating work?
So I just know that it's how to, or what I know what carbon dating is. It's how to tell how old something is. Now the details of it, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. So this is one that I didn't want you to know any of these, but I asked you this beforehand. I was like, this is one of them. And I was like, I have no idea. Is it like the Half-Life thing? And you're like, no, I don't think so. But then we asked other friends at breakfast and they're like, yeah, it's like Half-Lives. But we all are so vague on this that like we could never give you a clear answer on how this works.
And do you think a fifth grader could?
Absolutely not. Again, you guys, you're trying to make us look stupid and congratulations, it's working.
It worked. So thank you.
How does carbon dating work?
It's probably your brother's question.
It is based on the fact that living organisms like trees, plants, people, and animals absorb carbon-14 into their tissue. When they die, the carbon-14 starts to change into other atoms over time. Scientists can estimate how long the organism has been dead by counting the remaining carbon-14 atoms. So you were the closest. We didn't know exactly why, but you were definitely the closest.
I don't know. Yeah. When you said carbon dating, I was like, well, I know everything's made of carbon, so...
Okay, so these next couple ones We should maybe know them.
Okay.
Do I? No.
All right, I'll try.
What's the capital of Vermont?
Oh, fuck me. What? This is definitely a fifth grade question because I remember
you should know,
vividly
yes.
that we had to do the states.
Yep. At one point in my life, I did know those, like the back of my hand.
Is it New Hampshire?
New Hampshire is its own state, babe.
Oh, fuck. Usually I'm the one that's good with geography, too.
Have you ever done the Friends quiz where you have 15 minutes to list all 50 states? You think it would be easy?
No, I probably couldn't
It
do
is
that.
not easy.
Yeah, no.
You'll forget them.
Hold on.
I can't
Hold on.
fucking pronounce it.
The capital of Vermont?
And I don't remember ever learning this.
Let me see.
Montpelier? Montpelier?
Is it Montpelier?
There's an L in there.
I know, but I said New Hampshire, so.
Okay. So this one I
shit.
think you know, but I want to see if I know it, okay?
Okay.
Name the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore? I'm going to say, I could be wrong, okay? I'm going to say George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Jefferson, and Roosevelt.
Ding, ding, ding,
Is that
ding.
right?
Yeah.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Only because we live here. Otherwise, I would never freaking know that.
But that's definitely not common. Well, I guess,
It maybe should be.
why?
But you know what I used to
Kinda
think?
the whole
I
thing's
used to
kinda
think it
fucked
was
up.
the first 4 presidents.
Oh, no. Definitely,
it's not.
definitely not.
Do you know why they're picked?
They're the most,
Influential.
yeah, Borglum. Yeah,
That sounds right.
Borglum was the, I don't know if it's like a designer, architect. I don't fucking know what really you call that guy. But I think,
who made it?
Yeah, he's the guy who created Mount Rushmore, and I think he thought those 4 presidents had the most impact with the U.S.
I would
history.
say they're the most memorable.
I'd say,
Abe Lincoln for sure.
yeah, they all did some good stuff, and they all did some bad stuff.
Oh, for sure. That's every president. Okay, this one's fully a question for you because I have no fucking clue.
Oh, boy.
What's the main structural difference between a plant and an animal cell? Hint. This is not a hint. Let me just tell you. Hint. Both have mitochondrion. I feel like I actually remember learning this in school, but I could not tell you.
You asked the difference between an animal cell
In a plant cell.
and a plant cell.
And I specifically remember learning this. Okay, so it says, do you want me to tell you?
Well, I mean, obviously an animal cell doesn't need to. Oh, yeah, just tell me.
You don't want to keep struggling through it?
Well, I'm just trying to. I want to know.
It says plant cells have a cell wall in addition to a cell membrane, whereas animal cells have only a cell membrane. Plants use cell walls to provide structure to the plant. Plant cells contain organelles called chloroplasts, while animal cells do not.
I knew because that's what makes them green.
Oh, okay. Oh, the chloroplasts.
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll.
But I'm pretty sure chloroplast has something to do with that as well, and that's why I knew that it's and yeah. But you're right. That is a pretty simple thing that we should probably
So this
know.
next one I do know because it is a more of a finance question.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should know this, but I would actually guess most people don't.
Okay.
What's the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k?
No idea.
You'd have no idea. Take an educated guess.
A Roth 401 and an R. And
No. A Roth IRA, it's one thing, and a 401k.
I think isn't a 401k like where they take that money and invest it into other things?
Well, they're both like retirement accounts. So either of them would do
yeah,
that.
no, I have no idea.
So 401k is first off like an employer account. Like you can't just have a 401k if you're not employed.
Okay.
But also the biggest difference, which I would say, I would have asked what's the difference between a Roth IRA and a normal IRA. A Roth IRA, which we should have these actually, and we should have one for Jaden, they take the tax out before they invest it.
Oh.
And so when you go take that money out later on, you don't have to pay taxes on it because you already did.
Nice.
So assume that you put money in that account now. Yeah, you're paying taxes on it, whatever. You can pretty much guarantee taxes are not going to go down in the next 50 years. So when you take it out, you pay the lower rate instead of paying the higher rate. Whereas an IRA, you don't pay taxes until you pull it out.
Oh, So you
And same with like a 401k. They do that pre-tax. They put it in an account and invest it for you. When you pull it out, you have to pay taxes on
that's
it.
good to know.
It's good to know. A Roth IRA is very, what am I trying to think of? Like underrated. I feel like a lot of people don't know what a Roth IRA is.
Well,
It's good to know.
there you go.
Okay, so these are ones that I looked up. So I
So
know
those
the
are
answers.
all entries. God,
Yeah.
you guys.
You guys are assholes. Just kidding. What's the tallest mammal on the earth?
Giraffe.
Yeah, good job. Okay. What's the process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly called?
Oh Jesus.
You're gonna know this. When I say it, you're gonna know it.
I mean, it's a cocoon. They go into a cocoon. It's
Starts with an M.
that fucking
That did not help.
that made it worse.
Metamorphosis.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no way, no fucking way.
So I'm a Hillary Duff fan through and through, and she has an old song called Metamorphosis. I loved it. Okay, this is also for you. During World War II, on the day known as D-Day, at what location did Allied troops invade Europe?
Normandy.
Yes. Heck yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Well, that was yeah. Go ahead.
Why is
There's
that
a-
easy?
there-
There's a movie, right?
No, it's not that it's easy. I'm a history.
I was going to
buff,
say that
but-
that is where you shine in a lot of ways. Aside from your typical day to day, you're good at history and you're good at geography. I'm not.
Not minus the whole New Hampshire thing.
That's okay. That's okay.
Normally I
I'm
am pretty good at it.
Yeah, you are pretty good. I would say I'm usually good at. Don't come at me if I have grammatical errors, but usually I'm better at grammar. Like I've
You are
never mixed up.
100% better at grammar than I will ever be.
Like when people mix up the different yours or theirs
do
or
that.
twos,
I
I
know
want to
that.
freak out. You got to know that.
I was terrible at English, but I do know those.
Yes, you do. What's the longest river in the United States?
I think it's
Don't second guess.
Missouri.
Wait, no, you're right. You're right. It is in Missouri. Sorry. You said Mississippi and I was about to.
No, I said it as I was walking back. I said it's either Missouri or Mississippi, and then
Let me just double check that.
and then I thought that
Mr.
Mississippi
Bird.
dumped into the Missouri.
I could never tell you that. Missouri, you were right. Whose picture's on the $5 bill?
Lincoln.
Good job.
Jesus.
Sorry, I'm not sure I would know that.
What? Who's on the 10? Who's on the 20?
I don't freaking know. I want to say George Washington for all of them, but I know that's not right. Tell me.
So 1's Washington, 5's Abe, 10's pretty sure it's Jefferson, 20's Jackson, 50's Roosevelt, and 100's Benji.
Oh, I knew Benji.
Well, no shit.
Yeah, nope. Didn't know those.
I
Okay.
I think
We're done with
actually.
questions making us look like
I don't-
freaking idiots.
Check on the $10 bill because
Nah.
that one's fucked.
That's okay. I don't want to look it up. So these are stories from Reddit. Things you didn't learn until embarrassingly late in life.
Things I didn't learn.
Yeah. So these are just. Well, I'll ask you. Do you have any things you feel like you didn't learn until really late?
Several.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode. If you missed it, go listen to the end of that episode. Other than that, anything really simple that like someone told you and you're like, wait, I should have
Like,
known that.
is it like something mental or like physical, like
It could be-
trait? Because I feel
I
like
wouldn't say a trait. I would say more like facts.
I would say how to read a tape measure. Honestly,
In what way did you not know?
I knew like fractions. I know fractions really well, but the lines and shit. So like when you go to measure, it goes all the way down to sixteenths, and there's sixteenths, eighths, quarters,
Right.
halves. So there's all these little lines everywhere. So when you're looking at the tape measure, I just didn't know how to read all the lines.
I get you. Okay. I think that's, yeah.
That was probably before action. Action's probably when
Then you're thrown into the job. You're like, shit,
huh?
my enemy, a tape measure.
No, they taught me how to really use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say that I fully know then. I mean, I know, I would know. I would know, I think.
And it's not that I didn't know how to use a tape measure, but actually accurately
like,
read
quick with it, too.
and be quick with it and make cuts and measurements.
Yeah.
What do I need for 45-degree angles? Shit
Oh,
like that.
for sure.
Yeah.
That stuff
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Okay. So other things that people didn't learn until late in life, that you can eat steak or beef pink. My mom used to give me overdone steak, and I thought that was the norm. When I was an adult and I was asked how I liked my steak, I was confused and had to ask.
You poor soul.
So you never had a well-cooked steak.
You had a well done steak.
You had a well-done steak. That's unfortunate.
Well, you good news is you are welcome to a whole new world.
Yep.
Because
And that's not your fault.
medium rare steak.
That's
is
your mom's fault.
Fire.
Yeah,
And
well
if,
done steak
If you
is
like anything
a shame.
other than medium rare steaks, get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Okay, this one. The birds and the bees just means explaining sex. I thought there was actually a story that parents told their kids to explain it. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't far off from that. People would say the birds and the bees. I'm like, I wonder what that story is. I never heard that story.
I don't know when.
Because, at some point I obviously learned what that was.
I don't know
but I don't
when
know
I
when.
would have like it clicked. Like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But it's
know
been a
either.
while, I guess.
I have a question for you. When did you know what sex was? How old were you?
I don't know.
I don't either. I was trying to think. What's a normal age? The kids should know that.
I don't
They
know.
probably know it pretty early now.
Oh yeah. Nowadays. Oh yeah.
Way earlier than they probably should.
I don't know, honestly. I can't like. There's not like a year where I'm like, ding.
Did your parents ever have that talk with you?
No.
Mine didn't either. I was talking to my mom about it last night. She was like, yeah, we never had that talk. I'm like, yeah, I had to learn it on the streets. Not sure if what I learned was even accurate, Okay, this one, that there's an arrow showing you what side of your car the gas tank is on. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Where's that at?
It's right next. It's usually where like your empty and full is.
Really?
And then there's a triangle you're pointing this way or that way.
That is very helpful.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Dang.
Okay.
Yeah.
That pickles are made from cucumbers.
Dude, Harold.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He thought they were just pickles. They came from a pickle bush.
pickle bush.
Sorry, Harold. I
is
didn't
so
even
much-
throw you under the bus,
I
dog.
remember, oh my gosh, I remember just seeing this TikTok not that long ago, where someone was like, we've learned how to pickle so many things, but no one's ever pickled a cucumber. Someone was like, wait, buddy, that's the ultimate pickle. Yes, we have learned how to pickle cucumbers. Oh, that's funny. This has a few different things. I didn't really learn how to tie shoes until middle school. It took me a fairly long time until high school to be able to glance at a clock and know the time. I'd have to count by fives to get the minutes in my head. I actually feel like that's very normal.
The tying your shoes, I made my own way to tie my shoes. I didn't learn the conventional way.
Your way's weird as hell.
I still tie my shoes that way to this day.
Yeah.
And for the what was
The clock.
Oh,
Tongue
clock?
time. So
you know, they kind of fucked us growing up because every one of my schools, like Corel Drive and Southwest, there was digital clocks.
are you serious?
I'm dead ass serious. We had the black speaker thing on the wall. I'm like 95% sure. And there was digital clocks up there. I think we had analog clocks. The teachers would have them in the classroom.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure we had digital clocks.
So
I might be just making that shit up too.
Definitely in school. Well, I always knew how to read a clock, but it wasn't like I could immediately look at it and be like, oh, I know exactly what time it is. It would take me a second to be like, okay, wait, where's this hand? Count it, whatever. I think that's normal. But I do remember in school, I would know like, okay, yep, for this class, that hand needs to be here to be done. You know what I mean? So I don't think this person's
That's
that
not really reading
far off.
time though. That's just
No, but I knew how to read time. I'm just saying, is it a normal thing to be able to immediately look at a clock and know what time it is?
I don't know.
Or does it take you a second?
And then also, here's another one. Reading military time. So like what time is
that takes me a
what's
second.
2100?
Oh, 9?
Here you go.
Yeah.
You just add you
You
subtract 12.
But it takes me a second.
Yeah.
It takes me a second.
So yeah,
So,
everyone's always curious about that because I actually like my phone's always on military
why?
since firefighting.
Stupid. Okay, next one. That you don't have to take all the bananas in a bunch at the grocery store. You can do 1, 2, hell, even 3.
I mean, yeah.
I knew that. You know what? I've done that, but I never knew if that was like technically
Like if it was taboo.
if you were supposed to be doing that or not. But sometimes like I don't want a bunch of 6. I only want 4.
I know.
But then I sometimes like would feel bad.
Yeah, because you're just leaving 2.
Yeah. And like, if I'm going to go, I never grab
The singles?
the two. Yeah, I never grab a single. So I don't know if it's actually like, I don't know if you're supposed to be doing that.
Singles ripen quicker.
Okay. I didn't know that. This one, that raisins used to be grapes. I thought they grew on little bushes like that. Don't worry. I what the fuck myself at least once a month for it.
I mean, I've always known them as deflated grapes.
Yeah,
That's funny though.
I know. That water doesn't automatically come hot out of the sink. It just happens in my house because we have a solar heating system. I was 21.
Wait, what?
They didn't know that like a water heater was heating their water.
They thought it was just
They
hot.
thought it was just naturally hot right out of the sink.
Huh.
Yeah.
You need to get out more.
You maybe should learn that before 21, I would say.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I was 22 before I understood that a bookkeeper doesn't keep books like a beekeeper keeps bees.
Yeah, he's an accountant.
He's not an accountant. A bookkeeper is not an accountant.
He just keeps track of all your stuff. Oh, you're right.
They
It just
do,
keeps
but
track
an
of your
accountant
numbers
is doing
and
the actual
payroll, shit like that.
The bookkeeper? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what double dipping was with chips and salsa until I was 5 years out of college. I was that
Disgusting.
guy. Yeah.
Disgusting.
He was the guy totally double dipping who
I
didn't
bet
know
he
that was
felt
the thing.
so embarrassed, especially you went through all the way through college, just putting fistfuls. I would have,
Double dipping. Hold on.
and I don't know. I'll at least tell you, like, bro, that's gross. Like, what are you doing?
Like, hey, don't double dip. Yeah. Okay, this is something they thought. That continents are connected to the internet through massive
Oh my
cables at the bottom of the ocean. I was in college.
I hope that's a joke.
I don't think so. But I do have a question
By giant
for you.
cables
Yep.
into the ocean.
Yep.
So we can just, like, cut the cables and move whenever we want.
Did you listen to what it was? The internet. Not saying that's how the...
Oh, I guess once I heard continents and chains and ocean, I'm like, this
No,
motherfucker.
the continents are connected to the internet through massive cables at the bottom of the ocean. But I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
How the heck does the internet work?
What do you mean?
How does it work?
I don't fucking know.
Those are basic things. This is the episode.
How does
or
the internet work?
these are the episodes that I want my brother on, or the questions where I'm like, basic things.
Because he would know that
How does a
shit.
microwave work? How does a TV work? You guys, how does a fucking cell phone work? Do I understand that? Yeah, there's some sort of ray, whatever. But I do not logically understand how anybody, that feels like magic to me.
And your brother could explain this.
He could. It would still, his
would make sense to
explanation
me, but-
would still be over my head.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay. I thought for most of my childhood that dinosaurs were taken out by the military. I remember in kindergarten, my teacher asked the class what happened to the dinosaurs when they went extinct. And I said something about jets shooting missiles at them.
How old was he?
In childhood.
Yeah,
This
I
is,
mean,
I
that's-
remember in
That's
kindergarten.
normal.
That's funny. I'm wondering where you
Got
Where you
that
came up
from?
with that, though.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're obviously extinct.
he probably watched like an action movie.
Oh,
It's like,
probably Godzilla,
Yep, that's what happened to dinosaurs.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, this is embarrassing. God, they need to teach more sex ed in school. It wasn't until I lost my virginity at 18 when I found out dicks aren't hard all the time.
Wow.
What an inconvenience if you're just walking around.
Is the heart on all the time?
Oh, that would suck. I don't know.
Most freshmen in high school. Most freshman boys.
Gross. Okay, I spent this one's so bad too. I spent the first several years of my period refusing to wear tampons because they were too painful. I was trying to put them in my urethra. No idea where my vagina was.
My God. Where's your mother?
Where's your mother?
Your grandma, your aunt, your fucking sister.
One of these says like I didn't know there was like more than one hole.
Put it in my ass and it doesn't work.
No, but they like urethra or whatever. But
Oh, fuck.
are we not doing? We at least had classes like that in 4th and 5th grade,
I
talking about the basics of a period and
Gym class. Health class.
ours wasn't gym class. It was like they took the girls out. The guys had their own separate class. The girls had their own separate class. It wasn't. I don't think it was health for us.
Yeah, it was
Just like a random class. I passed out both years.
watching the video.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I was actually
Why?
this was the start of when I started like really fainting in life, because when they first told me in 4th grade, I thought this was a joke. I thought I must have misunderstood. They're like, yeah, girls are gonna get a period and you're gonna bleed for 5 to 7 days straight every month for the foreseeable future. And I'm thinking, this can't be right. This can't be right. We're walking around bleeding. It's right. Turns out it was right. But I have never done well with medical or blood or anything. So I would show like the diagrams of whatever, and I fainted both times. The first year I fainted, I didn't know what was happening to me because I'd never fainted before. I was like down on my desk, laying my head down, and everything was like coming in black around me. And my friend was sitting right next to me, and I remember reaching for her arm and saying, "Help me." I thought I was dying because everything went black and I couldn't see. So yeah. And I remember like that was the time where I was like, I'm never going to be able to have a kid or like give birth because I will never survive that. Of course you figure it out. You're stronger than you realize, but
I've known you for like 8 years now and I've never seen you pass out.
I haven't passed out in a lot of years.
Doing something right.
I've passed out being high before.
Really? Mm-hmm. That was not with me.
Nope. Smoked too much and didn't eat anything that day. And the people I was with, I was like, I don't feel well. And they're like, you're fine. You're being dramatic. And I was actually in a guy's apartment with all the like guy roommates. I was the only girl there. And some of the guys were like in the living room gaming. And I like walked out to the kitchen and just like leaned over the sink. And I was like, I just need to eat something. I'm fine. And then I woke up on the floor with all of them around me. And I just passed out.
Jeez.
Yeah. Next one. When you snap your fingers, the sound comes from one finger hitting the base of your thumb. That took 35 years. I actually did that this morning when I read this. I was like, huh, where does that sound come from? That was exactly, I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
It's
Where
so
does it come
quick.
from?
This finger hitting the base of your thumb. Hitting right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
didn't know that.
oh, that's crazy.
Okay.
Well, I'm 30, so I got a leg up.
Ooh, okay. This one, I'm not gonna say I thought this was true, but my geography is not far from this. This one says, not me, but when I went to Africa to do humanitarian work, my sister, who was 23, thought Africa was a country and that all the actual countries were states. That's not far off from my level of geography. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's worse.
That's worse,
That's
but
that's way worse.
I know that now.
What? No, I'm saying that one's worse, not yours. Yours isn't.
No, I'm just saying I'm wondering at what age I was when I learned that.
Oh, I don't know. I've always known that Africa is not a country.
I can't say I mean, I do know that, but I'm not confident in any. I'm so not confident in any geography that, I don't even know.
I know.
I would immediately feel like an idiot if you ask me any. No, don't. I'm gonna look like an idiot. Yeah, that is one of those things that did not stick in my brain.
Is geography?
Yeah, I hated geography classes.
Shout out Mr. Hybertson. He's probably dead.
Okay. Ouch. Okay. I, 26, learned yesterday that ovens can be set below 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh.
Because when you hit it, it immediately is at 350. Because it's like the base starter. They probably didn't know you could go below that.
Huh.
Up until middle school, I thought people were born vegetarian or vegan.
That's just stupidity.
It is stupidity. I'm like, where? What?
I mean, you're born whatever. I mean, you're not just. Never mind.
This one's sad. I feel like this is something that should be taught in school because I thankfully had a mom who worked in the bank and was fully helped me understand this, but how credit cards are supposed to be used. When I got my first card, the only advice my mom and brothers gave me was don't spend more than you have, which my 18-year-old brain interpreted as don't spend more than your limit. Duh, the card won't let me do that anyway. Nope, I was just stupid. Hit the limit on the card in 3 days. The fact that this is not known and common sense to people is terrifying. And credit card companies prey on people not knowing how they work.
I don't think I was ever taught about credit cards. I had to learn on my own.
When did you get your first credit card?
18,
Okay.
right out of high school.
Because that's the other thing. We've known people who their parents also don't explain it to them, but don't get them a card, so they don't build credit. So that's not good either. It's not like, oh, just never have a credit card, but you have to, yeah. That to me should be common sense. It is scary how bad some people are with money, I think.
And I don't know. I was always super, super scared about my credit card. So I was super anal about getting it completely paid off every
Yep.
month. And I think probably like the first month that I had a credit card, I'm sure I spent like $500 of my $1,000 limit, you know, and then I didn't pay it, and then I got slapped with that 27% interest or whatever it was.
Oh, for real?
Oh, you know, I'm just saying, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I can't do that anymore. And then I think from then on, I'm like, okay, I need to pay it off every time.
So one thing that I learned in college, which I remember like learning this and being like, this cannot be right. This pissed me off. But that to keep your credit good, you should not be spending anywhere near the limit.
No, 30%.
You should 20 to 30%.
30%.
Because the card, I don't remember how this works exactly. They don't care. They don't know if you paid off. They're just seeing how much you're advancing. So that hurts your credit, even if you're paying it off in full. So you are actually better off if you can control yourself to have a higher
credit
limit and not spend nearly as much. But yeah.
You know, that's another thing. My parents didn't teach me about credit score.
Yeah.
Fucking, needs to be taught in school.
Absolutely. That, taxes, those basic things really should be.
I've been blessed because once I bought my first car and I was super anal about paying that off. I don't miss payments. I never have. So my credit score is amazing.
Yeah, we have really good credit, but we're not as good at paying our card off like full now. And that does fully stress me out. Even though we're still good.
Yeah.
It does stress me out. Like I think that's just embedded in my brain of owing money. I hate that feeling. So when I hear of other people that have so much credit card debt, so much school debt, all this stuff, I'm like, how are you not like a walking ball of anxiety at all times? When you have like a super high like interest on it,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that's terrifying.
Well,
to
I think
me.
we're like in that aspect, we're doing pretty good when it comes to the debt.
Oh,
debt
for
ratio,
sure.
For sure.
We definitely, I just more hear of people that have like $100,000 in credit card debt. And I'm like, how
did you get there?
heck?
I would have bought a house.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's a great down payment.
We just have a couple more. It was only a few years ago I recognized that cars have backup lights, like reverse lights. I'd somehow instinctively responded to them, yet not made the connection in my brain, even to the point of somehow missing that part of my car inspection when I took my driving test.
Wow.
That's one of those things where it's like you just know it and you don't even realize.
Your
like,
subconscious already knows
yeah,
it,
obviously
and you're
you know
just
it.
like not consciously aware of it.
Yeah. Or usually, most people, I would say.
Well, you can be subconsciously aware of something and not like have it conscious, and you not
Yes.
consciously like aware of it. Because
I
like
guess,
walking
yeah.
down the road, like say, something happens in the corner of your eye,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go home and you sit at home, you're watching the news, and something happened at a certain store, and you were walking by and you caught that glimpse.
Right,
you know
right,
what
right,
I
right.
mean? So that's
Yeah, like your brain's catching on to more stuff than you're actually processing.
like at that point in time, no, you did not process it. But now that I'm sitting here and I'm seeing like, oh shit, you can like look back and be like, oh God, I do remember that, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
It is cool. This one I don't know if this is a joke. Chocolate milk doesn't come from brown
Oh
cows.
no, that's a joke. That's
Yeah.
gotta be a joke.
It's got to be. I hope. This one. That our bodies are able to produce new blood throughout our lifetime. I thought we just kept the same blood for forever and ever. That the Titanic was actually a real thing that happened and not just a movie. And that Shamu was the name of the killer whale at SeaWorld and not the name of killer whales collectively.
It was too many at once.
Yeah, so they wrote 3 different things. So that you keep the same, that your body's able to produce new blood. You don't keep the same blood. Which I guess that's one of those things that like I knew, but also
So
I have
hold
a
on
dumb
minute.
question for
Hold
you.
on.
Where does it go?
Hold on a minute. So your body will produce new blood if it needs to, but if I'm not mistaken, your body's filtering your blood. So it's just recycling your
Okay.
blood is what's happening. So
Okay.
now if I cut myself and I lose a bunch of blood up to a certain point, yes, my body can create more. But I don't think that my body's just creating.
New blood all the time.
I don't
Because
know.
otherwise, where would it go?
Well, it can shit it out or whatever. You know what I mean? Your body, that's what we do with our waste.
Right, but does it switch from blood to waste?
I don't know. It could be broken down into carbon.
Okay. So this is something I still fully do not understand, and I never looked into it, but like my dad had a stem cell transplant years ago. And before he passed away, he was supposed to do CAR T cell therapy, which is, oh gosh, I'm going to like butcher. I don't understand how it works. It's so advanced, but basically like, I think taking your blood out,
They take your cells out and they
filtering it, like teaching your cells to
program them.
only kill the cancer cell. Like it's wild that that's
It's even a thing.
even real.
Yeah.
Or like, I think the stem cell one was, I'm pretty sure he was like, this was a long time ago, but hooked up to a machine for like 10 hours. Well, they literally took his blood out of his body, all of it, filtered it, like, filtered it, put it back in. And it basically took his immune system to like 0. Like he could not be even in the hospital because of the risk of getting sick. But that to me is so, like, I don't even understand that. That's so crazy to me.
It is wild. I don't understand that side at all. Even because, I mean, they explained it to us I don't know how many times, and I still have no fucking clue.
Oh,
how
well, and I
exactly
never
it
took
works.
I never took any sort of medical. I don't even think I took biology. Wait, do you have
had
to take
Yes,
it?
you had to take
Oh,
biology.
I did, but I didn't like it. I don't
High
think.
school. That was Mrs. Byer. She was cool.
Oh, I did have Mrs. Byer.
And
I
Mr.
did.
Byer was cool too. He was physical science.
But I never took anatomy and physiology. A lot of people took that.
I did.
Yeah. So the second part of this was that the Titanic was actually a real thing and not just a movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Were you the one who told me that like conspiracy of that it was maybe done on purpose because of like the big names of the people that were on it? I don't remember the details of that.
It was so essentially, I don't know how the ship actually got wrecked, but there was a lot of big heads that were traveling from one place
Like
to
big
another.
like oil people, right?
Oil people, it was railroad people, it was basically everybody that held power at that time.
Like it
Not
actually,
everybody, but
because of the people that died on that, completely changed
Yes.
the
Yes.
trajectory
a lot of
of
people
certain things.
took over things, and so there's a conspiracy that the Titanic was actually like they blew the ship up,
Oh, I didn't
like
know
they
that.
blew a hole in it and sank it.
Huh.
Yeah,
Conspiracy theories are weird.
they are weird.
And then the last one, that Shamu was the name. They thought Shamu was the name of killer whales collectively.
As a child, that's understandable, but as a full-grown adult, to think that's
Well, I don't know how old they were when they figured it out.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dang, that was a short one.
We're at 57 minutes.
Oh,
Wasn't that short?
okay.
What do you what do you think overall? Do you think people are going to listen to this and be like, they're
Yeah.
really stupid? I'm
Yeah.
done listening.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not very smart.
You are smart. But
Not-
I think
not
that's
smarter than a fifth grader.
we were just talking about this at breakfast. I think that show was so fake. I do not think there are fifth graders that knew all those things. I think they were fed the answers.
I don't know
do
if I
not
believe that. I think there's some smart ass kids out there.
I-
I think there's some genius ass kids out there.
For sure, but some of the questions were like so specific on that show that I'm like, no. They studied that right before they came on. They did. There's no fucking way.
Possibly.
But I think if anything, I want this episode to show that there are different ways of being smart. And if you use something in your day to day, you're going to like retain it and remember it and get better at it. But if you're not using it,
It's gonna go away.
it's going to go away. You can't know everything in the world. You just can't.
There's certain things that are like riding a bike, but I think factual side of things for most people, I don't think it's like riding a bike.
And I also don't think it's necessary. I don't think your brain is meant to know every little thing. If you're not using that knowledge, save room in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
I also think sometimes this is a totally different thing, but I think there's a correlation between anxiety and how smart you are in some ways, not always. But in some ways, and I think in some ways it is a privilege to not be very smart.
That's probably fair.
I'm not saying I'm dumb. I don't want to say that, but I think there is a level of
Intelligence
ignorance.
that-
Ignorance is bliss. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Because if you're too intelligent, I mean, you understand things on a way deeper level than everybody else.
And you fear more because
Yeah.
you know more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe you
Maybe
don't.
not. Maybe I'm
you're just
crazy.
cocky son of a bitch and just don't even.
That's fair.
I know everything.
well, for sure, there's exceptions to this, but
We know a few know-it-alls, don't we?
yeah, for sure. I think sometimes I could be a know-it-all too, though.
I really, really try not to be a know-it-all and or a one-upper.
But I will say that if someone says something that they believe is so factual, and I know with every fiber of my being that they're wrong, I have to correct them.
Why? Sometimes you just gotta let
That
people
is
be-
someone being a know-it-all when they're wrong.
Yeah, and sometimes you just gotta.
That is why my favorite thing ever is Google. I love making you Google something and proving that I'm right. Because you walk in with the confidence of a god and then you're wrong. And it's the quickest way to humble you. And I think before the time of Google, people could go around saying the dumbest shit and people would believe them.
Oh yeah, if you had the confidence, you can realistically in anything in life, if you have the confidence to just do it, you can get people to damn near believe anything.
Truthfully, fake it till you make it. That is why there are cult leaders that can just have a group of people follow them off a bridge.
It's
if they are confident,
pretty wild.
It's scary. But that is the end of our episode. Don't know what next episode will be,
I
but
don't know. I like that though.
figure it
That was
out.
Good.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.